Hello and welcome. ValleyBiggs is a boutique M&A firm focused on the representation of middle market owners and investors looking to exit their technology companies. Our intermediaries focus on target acquisitions with a purchase price of $1 million and up. Our concentration is specific to the digital space, including technology companies, internet companies, websites, Amazon companies, ad networks, digital marketing firms, software and app companies, and much more. Today's segment will focus on the variables that come into play that can have an effect on the sale of a digital middle market company. Owners and investors spend years honing their craft, developing their companies, and creating the very best shareholder value possible. When it is time to capitalize on those successes, just as much effort must go into finding the right consultant to take you through the M&A process. As with anything in life, you should go with experts in the sector, people that have experience selling companies comparable to yours, people that have their thumb on the pulse of the marketplace, and people that are entrepreneurs themselves, people that have successfully built, acquired, and sold digital companies just like yours. That search will inevitably lead you to ValleyBiggs. Having been involved in the development, purchase, and sale of technology and internet companies for over 20 years, we have found that it is anything but a cookie-cutter process. In fact, it can be quite daunting. Every company has many moving parts, including the good and that which could be perceived as not so good. Part of packaging a company is to represent it as it really is, not to hide the blemishes, but to disclose all issues up front and to focus on highlighting all the added value such a company can create for a buying entity. When a company goes under contract, it must survive the rigors of accountants, lawyers, and due diligence experts. The object is to control these events and manage expectations. These rigors vary widely, depending on the sector, buying entity, and how well the books have been kept on the business. The process often begins with either a letter of intent or term sheet, outlining the basics of the deal, and importantly, the purchase price structure. We find LOIs to be a great starting point because it gets the parties on the same page regarding what could be perceived as deal killers, and in many cases before attorneys need to get involved. After the LOI stage, the parties begin working on a purchase and sale agreement, which can be an asset, stock, or hybrid deal. It's important that at this stage, each of the parties have their attorneys weigh in on the purchase documents so that everybody is on the same page prior to moving into due diligence. We also recommend using transaction attorneys. We have a large number of these professionals within our network, which we can refer when the time is right. The reason we suggest using transactional attorneys is to avoid the arguments and delays caused by having one attorney draw up a contract that invariably favors her client that is then reviewed and hammered by an attorney for the other party. A transactional attorney does not represent either side. She represents the transaction as a whole. Her job is to take the purchase agreement and draw it up neutrally for both parties. She then submits these documents to each party, and at that point, they have the option to take the agreement to their own respective attorneys for review. Each party needs to feel comfortable with this process, and it is fully up to them to choose this road, but it has been employed thousands of times, and it works. We have seen many deals go south for reasons such as these. So it's important that the process be used to put all parties in a position to be successful. Another recommendation we often make during the process is for buyers to utilize experts that specialize in due diligence. When a buyer takes the information he has been provided to his accountant, in most cases that person is not qualified to process the data properly. He will do the best he can to cover his bases in the event that something goes wrong, and he will inevitably throw in a few caveats, such as the price is too high or the risk is significantly high. This leaves the buyer uncomfortable, but oftentimes he was not properly advised. The role of the due diligence expert is not to sugarcoat. It is to validate information and expose impending problems if they exist. The difference in using an expert versus a standard accountant is that an expert is trying to get the deal closed and has experience as a business owner and/or turnaround consultant. If he spots a problem, he will not only understand how to fix the problem, but will also offer a solution to mitigate the issue that hopefully will work for both sides. There are many other procedures that we go through during the transaction process, and in the end, more deals get done by managing the process. To learn more about our processes, feel free to contact us at ValleyBiggs, and thank you for listening today. For additional videos related to our processes and procedures, please search for ValleyBiggs at youtube.com.